Birmingham, a city forged in iron and driven by passion. We're a people known for facing adversity head on and for overcoming it every time. It's part of our cherished history. So when adversity rose again in the year 2020, we leaned on our legacy, a legacy that proves that Birmingham will always rise to the occasion.
2020 was a year of unprecedented opposition. 2021 was a year of course correction. But 2022, that was the year we had our hands firmly on the wheel, pedal to the metal, forging ahead with new resolve. We invested in our neighborhoods by continuing to prioritize the revitalization of our communities. We've built up to 100 new housing units, with more to come this year.
The city answered the requests of its residents, investing in a massive blight removal and revitalization project at the old Caraway Hospital property in the Druid Hills neighborhood. $15 million has been allocated for street resurfacing, along with capital project investments to improve sidewalks and storm drainage. A new complimentary uniform garbage cart system has launched, with the goal of more efficient collection and reduction in litter.
We've leveled up our transportation, with Birmingham Express becoming the first bus rapid transit system in Alabama and expanding the city's public transit options. Birmingham On Demand via ride-sharing services were also widened to provide more public transit options for neighborhoods and residents.
We're working to make our streets safer too by offering financial benefits to those who are recruited and join the Birmingham Police Department. We shifted hours to get more officers on the streets. We're making bipartisan connection with state lawmakers to pass tougher laws and combat dangerous street racing and exhibition driving.
But we also realize we can't police our way out of crime. So, we're launching a conflict resolution curriculum for Birmingham City School students, beginning with a $1 million investment as part of the Common Ground anti-violence strategy. We're also making a $1 million investment in mental health services for students. We uplifted our greatest resource, our youth, with a $1 million investment that launched the BHM Financial Freedom Curriculum for Birmingham City School students. It's teaching our youngest about the importance of financial literacy.
We continued our Page Pals reading initiative, partnering with Birmingham City Schools to elevate third grade reading levels. We dedicated $1 million in early literacy initiatives executed by Birmingham Talks, giving our children a head start to success. Thanks to help from the Federal American Rescue Plan Act, the Good Jobs Challenge grant awarded our city over $10 million to train over 1,000 job seekers in healthcare and digital health fields.
The land sale approval for Green Meadows development broke new ground by becoming the largest Black-led transaction in Birmingham's history. And through the BOLD program, more than $500,000 has been awarded to area organizations to fund innovative ways to help improve Birmingham's economic landscape.
But what does that all mean for 2023? It means we're positioning Birmingham to be a major player in our region. The success of 2022's World Games event was a huge win. 9 out of 10 spectators gave it a favorable report, along with 8 out of 10 athletes showing that Birmingham can be a destination for large sporting events. That will prove true with the World Police and Fire Game coming to Birmingham in 2025 and the March Madness tournament being hosted here in the spring.
It means more opportunities for our women and minority-owned businesses to thrive. It means more support for our rising workforce through the Birmingham Promise College Scholarship and Apprenticeship Program.
It means our hands are on the wheel and we're moving at a rapid pace, driving Birmingham beyond potential and toward purpose.
Our destination is clear, and we're ready for a wild ride. Thank you for being part of our journey.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It is really, really good to be with, it's good to be a Kiwanian, let me start there. But it's good to be with you all this afternoon. I want to thank Crystal Smitherman for that very intentional, warm introduction. And she's right. Beyond our positions as mayor and pro tem of the city councilor, we're friends, and she pushes me, holds me accountable along with her colleagues, which I want to take the time to actually, I know she did it, but I want to do it again. And as I call her name, I want them to actually stand, because everything you all just witnessed and watched and heard on this screen around showing receipts and the things we've done to improve the quality of life in this city was not a one-man show or one-man effort. It was a collective, along with 9 individuals and collective the city council. And so at this time, President of the Birmingham City Council, Wardine Alexander, could you please stand? Along with Clinton Woods, who represents District 1, Hunter Williams, that represents District 2, Valerie Abbott, who represents District 3, JT Moore, who represents District 4, Darrell Quinn. Dr. Darrell Quinn could not be here today. As you heard, Crystal Smitherman, Pro Tem, as well as Carol Clark, who represents District 8, and LaTonya Tate, who represents District 9. Everybody, please give these people a round of applause. We are extremely proud that we give you no opportunity to collect your popcorn and watch us on Tuesdays, because we are boring. And that is an important thing in city government. Unlike some other forms of government that you all saw recently on multiple days and votes, we don't get down like that, and that's on purpose. Truth is, we represent you, and in representing you, a part of representation form of government is understanding the bigger picture. We don't represent ourselves. We lead by vote, but we also lead by heart. And leading that way, we can set aside our differences and push the collective good for what's the big picture for the city of Birmingham. So I asked JW a question earlier, how long do I have with you all? And he told me I have to 1 o'clock. And so my purpose this afternoon is to be brief and direct on purpose, and then give way more considerable time to open it up for Q&A and embed a lot of, 1, what we've done in this hand, and 2, where we're going in this hand together. And so instead of the traditional wrap it up at 12:45, we're going to open it up earlier than that to make sure we can get some of your questions, some of your concerns out, and be afforded the opportunity to respond so you can see where your city and your city government is going on your behalf. With that in mind, last year I believe I stood before this audience and I spoke to this whole notion of a mother, grandmother who lives in a particular house on a particular street. And when she walks out of her home, what she sees when she looks in front of her, to her left and to her right. We spent a lot of time over the last, 4+ years focusing on what to remove out of neighborhoods that decrease quality of life. But this past year and going forward, we want to spend our time, we as in the Mayor's Office, City Council, we want to spend our time collectively pushing what should be put in these neighborhoods to improve quality of life. And so when that mother or grandmother walks out to her front porch and what she sees, it's something that she can smile about and feel good about. With that in mind, I want to focus first on community development. And so as I've acknowledged the Birmingham City Council, I have an amazing team of professionals who run these various departments, who y'all are doing an amazing job of really pushing our agenda. And when I say our, all of us in this room and the people we represent. And so related to spending so much time in the prior years removing blight, that has not been the focus the past year. I told you all last year we wanted to go vertical with more single-family homes. And I'm proud to stand before you and report back that's what we've done. Under the direction of community development, we've been able to have the largest development of affordable housing in our city in the last decade. And that's just in the past year, and combined with this upcoming year, with considerable amount of new single units coming online. In addition to that, I'm happy to say that this City Council has supported a $10 million housing trust fund to allow us to continue to drive this conversation around what does affordable housing look like and should look like in the city of Birmingham, and what's the city of Birmingham's role to play in affordable housing in our community. In addition to that, I'm proud to say that this team has created a down payment assistance program with forgivable loans up to $10,000. So in combination with the economic development team, which is the Innovation Economic Opportunity Department, both of these departments combined continue to support our small businesses in our community. In addition to that, as you know, recently last week, we've had extensive conversation around how do we address, support, invest in our neighbors who are experiencing not having shelter. And so they have supported a program, the Micro Shelter Program, for our unhoused neighbors. And this is a pilot program that we're very excited about that we can get more into in questions and answers. But we also talked about when that mother or grandmother leaves her home and when she pulls out of her driveway or when she walks down the street. And so in support of our Public Works team, I'm proud to say that what we've been intentional about is cleaning up our city. If you didn't know this, we have been so kind in picking up trash. And because we've been so kind in picking up trash a minimum of twice a week, trash is always on our city streets. What that allows is for those who are always committing illegal dumping or some form of littering to blend in, because we're always picking up trash a minimum of 6 out of 7 days a week. And so we're proud to say that we have modernized our form of refuge and collection of trash. It may not sound sexy to you, but trust me, it's something that we needed to do. And so we have moved to uniform trash collection by offering uniform trash bins, a little over 100,000 to our citizens in the city. They will be deployed in a strategic way, but the first 20,000 went out. That allows us to go from picking up trash twice a week to 1 day a week. In addition to that, a uniform lift allows us to go from 3 employees on a truck to 1 on a truck. Those 2 people still, their jobs are safe. They will still remain employed with the city. But this one allows us to be more efficient in how we deliver our trash services to protect our men and women from being hurt by actually physically lifting up and picking up garbage bins and trash bins. But the biggest thing it does is allows us to be more intentional about cleaning up our city. And so in addition to that, what we have now done is partner. There is a minimum of I'm counting out loud. Private sector, public sector includes ALDOT, UAB, Jefferson County, and the city of Birmingham, as well as the private sector led by Claude Nielsen, where we have what's called a Greenway project. This partnership has allowed us to be more intentional about cleaning up the entrance and exit ramps around various areas of our interstates in our city. This has been important, not just leading up to the World Games, but post-World Games, being more aggressive about cleaning up our city. Y'all, this team, along with our team, has collected just in the last 12 months, 36,000 bags worth of litter. I'll be y'all best friend if y'all stop littering. Please stop. Encourage your neighbors to stop as well. But this program is important because we have to continue to clean up our city. Also, if you didn't notice, we've created another pilot program in cleaning up our exits. If any of you recently have gotten out 3rd Avenue North downtown, Arkadelphia exit, 65 other areas, which include Robert Parkway, 20 Avenue I, and other areas, we've done something very simple. Put trash bins off exits. Again, that may sound simple to you, but we have to be very aggressive and intentional in how we clean up our city. And what you'll see in 2023 is more rollout efforts around recycling, the education component of recycling, and many other efforts to be very intentional about how our city looks, taking pride in our city, and cleaning up our city. And so I do want to thank our Public Works teams for all the work they've done as well. Again, that mother or grandmother exiting or leaving out of her home, she has options. She can drive her car, or if she does not have her own private transportation, we wanted to provide additional options for public transportation. So for her private vehicle, We listened to those complaints about our streets. I'm proud to say the City Council just 2 weeks ago approved $12 million worth of street paving. That program will begin between end of February, beginning of March, and end in October, of $12 million of worth deployment of dollars to support street paving all over our city in all 9 City Council districts, so I want to thank them for that. But for those who do not have their own private transportation, the bus rapid transit is a game changer to get people from point A to B. That is, from home to their doctor's appointment, home to work, home to school, whether it's high school or to a 2-year college in this city. And that is a big deal, and that's important that we continue to provide additional tools in our toolbox to offer public transportation to our citizens. That, along with the expansion of VIA towards East Birmingham, has allowed us to make sure we are affording our citizens, if they need public transportation, to get from point A to B in an efficient way and on time. But we've also partnered with ALDOT. Many of you all have complained for years about the lights on the interstate. They are not our responsibility, but the partnership has been well, and that has improved as far as safety. Moving on and going from place as it relates to our infrastructure, transportation, and housing, I want to talk about people, and then I'll open it up. Economic development has always been important for us as an administration. I'm proud to say, under the direction of Cornell Wesley and his team, we've seen an increase of more than 3,000 jobs, or 3.4 rise in employment opportunity in our city. You saw earlier the capture picture of the World Games. But the economic report, if you all did not know, generated $165 million. If I'm correct, directly towards the city, it was about $110 million. Also, you saw the picture of Northside development at Caraway Hospital. But the biggest thing we are proud of this team, and there's not enough time to list all the things economic development has done. But what we're most proud of is, in combination with our American Rescue Plan team, the Good Jobs Challenge in establishing the healthcare workforce training. I told you all last year that we didn't need to double down, but triple down on our economic identity, which is healthcare. This Good Jobs Challenge that we were awarded $10.8 million allows us to be in a position to add 1,000 new jobs in the healthcare industry, and that is a game changer. And not only employment opportunity, but continuing to save lives in this community and statewide. The city of Birmingham does not take credit for that in isolation. Getting the grant is amazing. The opportunity to provide 1,000 jobs is amazing. But the biggest thing out of this is the team approach with the economic development organizations in this community, not just Prosper, I'm not just saying that because you're sitting here, JW. Not just Prosper, not just BVA, but other organizations, UAB and others, that when we collectively decide to do something, there is no stopping the city of Birmingham. So this notion of there is no one-man band, we don't do things in isolation, and moving our economic agenda and tripling down on our economic identity to continue to provide economic opportunities and jobs, this is how we do it, in partnership and support of each other. So I'm extremely grateful for that. But we also got to invest, when I say people, we also got to invest in our youth. And so the things you heard earlier, taking the opportunity to expand opportunities for childhood education program with Birmingham Talks, continuing to invest in mental health, this new robust curriculum around financial literacy, which I know this club can appreciate, and the continued support of Birmingham Promise, not just for 2-year and 4-year colleges and universities, but also the workforce part, investing in youth to be exposed to work opportunities. That's how we continue to change Birmingham. Moving to public safety, I want to be very clear about this. Crime is more than homicides. Crime is also rape and robbery and assaults and theft and auto theft and burglary. There are many crimes against persons, and there are many crimes against property. And I know homicides catches the headlines, but BPD is responsible for many things, and that includes all those other crimes I named. And although we are not where we want to be with homicides in the city, I am proud to say, under the direction of Chief Thurman, that they were able to reduce all those other crimes collectively down by 5.67%. And so most of those crimes, with the exception of auto theft, were either flat or decreased. And that is a testament to their hard work. In addition to that, our ability to be an employer and recruit and attract talent, firefighters, police officers, we've offered incentives, including up to a $5,000 bonus. We resumed our Citizens Police Academy and community walks to continue to engage our community, as well as shifted our police officers to 12-hour shifts to make sure that we have enough manpower, women power on the ground to support actual visibility of our officers being in the streets. But I will continue to state this. Bless you. It is impossible for us to just arrest our way out of crime, and so the notion of prevention and reentry efforts, I do want to take the time to thank the council again for supporting all these efforts. A lot of them are pushed and under the direction of LaTanya Tate, who's over the Public Safety Committee. But we've launched the conflict resolution curriculum in Birmingham City Schools. That's in partnership. We've also established safe havens at our park and rec centers under the direction of Shanae Bennett. But one of the biggest things we've done, and I see friends here from the health department, many times people get shot, they end up at UAB hospital, and believe it or not, a lot of people survive. And then what happens is they go back out here and they retaliate. And so what we want to do is not only declare gun violence a public health crisis in our city, which we did a little over 3 years ago, but we need to come up with a robust, programmatic way and a way to actually produce results on decreasing the possibility of retaliation. And what that looks like is a partnership with the Jefferson County Health Department Health Hospital Linked Violence Intervention Initiative. That's a lot of words, but here's what it does. Community members can now go into the hospital and engage those who survived their gunshot and find a way to provide resources to prevent them or decrease the likelihood of them going out here and retaliate. And that is a fundamental game changer. But there is a program that's probably equally, if not more important than that, and the council just approved it today unanimously. Again, I want to thank them. And that is the Restore program. This program is in partnership with the Jefferson County Family Court. I have had the opportunity for quite some time, with no media on purpose, to continue to make visits to our youth detention center. And I'm slowing down and giving you this on purpose because this is important. At this youth detention center, we have young men and young girls between the ages of 14 and 18 who have committed various crimes. And they've committed these crimes and they have various issues. And when I talk to them, I take off the mayor hat, I put on just a simple person, Randall, and tell them, I've been in this building before as a visitor when my brother was locked up in this facility. And I share with them, there's a road that can get worse than this if you don't change. But there are others who participate. And so this Restore programs allows us to provide wraparound services for these young men and young women who are locked up in state custody. Why is that important to you in this room? Because over 80% of these young men and young women are more likely to either kill or be killed when they come out. They are more likely to not see the age of 25 or 30. And so if we make the necessary investments for this group of young people, we can change Birmingham's trajectory related to crime and particularly gun violence in our city. Thought that was important for you to know, which brings me to my last people group. Do not forget that the city of Birmingham is an employer. We employ over 3,000 plus people. It is my job as an employer, city council job as an employer, to continue to do everything we can to invest in our employees. That is more than just a base salary, base benefits, pension, etc. There are other things we have to do to continue to attract talent and retain talent in our city. And so I'm excited that the City Council, just within less than a year, has already approved a 5% cost of living adjustment. And presented before the council 2 weeks ago was a resolution of intent to, in the near future, provide an additional 5% cost of living adjustment, which allows us to give our employees a 10% pay raise, cost of living adjustment, within 1 year. In addition to that, we continue to offer incentives around hiring police and fire. But the biggest thing we just announced that has only been live and up for less than an hour is a 12-week paid parental leave. Parental is the term, not maternal, because we also want to support fathers as well. And that is unique in the sense that I believe we are the first city in the state of Alabama to offer, as of today, effective immediately, 12-week paid parental leave for our employees. We hope, thank you. We hope to be a shining example, not for just other municipalities in our state, but for private sector employers in our Birmingham community as well. With that, JW, we're opening up earlier than 12:45 for questions, and I can go deeper on any of those topics we've just shared as we talk about how we progress and move the city of Birmingham forward. Who's first? No takers. Oh, okay, have a good day. Just playing. Who's first? Yes, ma'am. Yes, I'm going to repeat the question. The question was, can you please provide an update on exhibition driving? And so what we have found in our community is that the city of Birmingham is not the only place this exists. It exists in the suburbs, it exists in rural Alabama, it exists in other cities across the nation. In this generation, their form of how they use their cars on stunt driving, exhibition driving continues to be a problem. You all should know as well that it is not isolated to public roadways and right-of-ways. It is also on private parking lots, church parking lots. It is a problem. And so what we've done is multifold things to address this issue. One, of course, is our police officers and how they address this issue. Sorry to inform you, police officers can't be at every intersection, so we will not be able to prevent every form of exhibition driving that you all see or call us on. But in addition to that, we partnered with James Fowler and the Department of Transportation in a position to continue to put down additional speed bumps in our community. We started in our central business district where there's a higher propensity and concentration of housing in the form of condos, lofts, and apartments, starting on 3rd Avenue, eventually moving to 2nd, then moving to 1st. So you will continue to see that phased in our city. However, exhibition driving in isolation is not a crime, and so we are happy to have sponsors in the form of Representative Hollis, State Representative Hollis, State Representative Alan Treadaway, and State Senator Roger Smitherman, who have a pre-bill that creates now a law that makes exhibition driving illegal and includes fines and includes towing, etc. This is where I need your help. The Jefferson County delegation is reluctant to allow cameras for red lights, speeding, failing to yield, failing to make a complete stop at a stop sign. We need an exception for exhibition driving. We need that exception for cameras for exhibition driving because officers cannot be at every intersection. Some people are foolish enough to actually post these things. So if we can actually see it, get a tag, even without being there, if it's actually recorded by camera, we can issue tickets. The other thing we need to do is partner with Terry Sewell and the rest of the U.S. House of Representative delegation, as well as our 2 senators. We actually need the insurance companies to be more aggressive. And if this behavior is done with somebody on insurance, they need to immediately drop them. Of all the things I've named, it's probably the best form of changing behavior, that if you know you can't have insurance, you're less likely to commit that behavior. Hope I answered your question. Yes, ma'am.
Can you talk a little bit more about the micro-shelter program, and just
Yes.
how it's going to work and maybe what other cities can go through as a model in that?
Yes, so is Dr. Megan Venable Thomas here?
Can you repeat the question?
I will repeat it. She's not. All right, the question was, can you talk more about the micro-shelter pallet program? So what the city of Birmingham has been doing for quite some time is studying best practices on how do you provide more shelter for those who are experiencing homelessness. And there are other cities on the West Coast, there are other cities south, such as Texas, that have partnered with this program, organization called Pallet. And what it does is it allows us to actually build micro shelters. These are small private dwellings, lock and key. But in addition to that, it's built in actually a community space that allows for a community bathroom that includes shower, toilet, etc. And all in addition to that, in this community space, it also includes some form of entertainment, whether it's just an outdoor area, etc. But my favorite part about it is that it also puts us in a position to provide wraparound services, and so we can continue to move people, push people past not just experiencing homelessness, but this is a more of a short term. We ultimately want to get people here long-term housing. And so being in a position to provide the wraparound service piece in addition to the housing micro shelters, whether it's issues in mental health, whether it's issues of substance abuse, workforce training, etc., we're in a better position to not only help that individual, but decrease homelessness in our community. And so the first phase was this council just simply approved the purchasing of the micro shelters. The second phase that started last week is a request for proposal process that allows organizations, because the city of Birmingham is not in the business of running this type of program, but partnering with actual partners on the ground who do this work every day, have a deadline to submit to us how they would actually operate this site. It could be multiple sites. It includes logistics, operations, safety plan, and so many other things related to getting this off the ground. But this is a game changer in the sense that it actually provides shelter for those experiencing homelessness. And we're actually very excited about this pilot program. We believe it will be a success, and from there we can expand the program citywide. Who's next? So the biggest action steps I can tell this room full of very capable people who are committed to and love Birmingham as much as I do is Page Pals. Page Pals, Page Pals, Page Pals. As you know, the state of Alabama, I think I told you all this last year as well, the state of Alabama created a law that says if third graders are not reading by grade level, they will be automatically held behind. I think when I was growing up, we called it flunk. I don't think they use that word anymore, JW. All right. However, we are fortunate that State Senator Roger Smitherman actually had the law delayed. The law takes effect the following school year. So that will be August 2023, ending May 2024. Any third grader not reading that grade level will be automatically held behind. We as adults, all of us in this room, have a very critical role to play in making sure that does not happen. You need to know a hard fact first. A little over 40% of our third graders are not reading at grade level. That's unacceptable. If we leave it to just our teachers and parents and principals, that number will not decrease. So we have to join in. Page Pals gives you all an opportunity to do that, and we need to build an army of volunteers to directly engage our third grade children reading. It allows you to go into a school, into a library, and engage a child one-on-one, anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes of reading. And trust me, it has a positive return. Galvin, I'm not sure if you're in this room, but we've had over 400 volunteers already with extensive hours. We need to continue to build that. And I don't want us to wait until next school year. So you can join now. Let's see, any team members want to give me birminghamal.gov/what? There you go, teamwork. BHAMYouthFirst.org allows you to sign up for Page Pals. Lauren, that's a great question, but I want to see an increase of y'all signing up for Page Pals to assist in reading. By the way, that does not take away from any other reading initiatives that exist in this city. Many exist, we support them. STARE being one for second graders, and so many other programs that are represented by organizations in this room. It is all a collective, but this puts us right at the ground level of addressing the issue. There are probably a lot of other things I can request you to do, but that's number one. Who else? Question? Yes.
Mayor, thanks for coming. You've been a great leader in regional cooperation. Can you talk a little bit about your collaborative efforts with other municipalities and what you see on the horizon?
Yeah, I can do that. So you all got to know that's intentional work. Yes, JW said I better repeat the question or he'll beat me up. The question was, can you share more about the effort on regional cooperation? The city of Birmingham is one of 30 plus cities in Jefferson County. That does not make any sense to have that many cities in one county. And that causes a push-pull on our effort to drive whatever agenda we have for the collective in this footprint we call Birmingham. What we've done over the last 5 years is be very intentional about our relationships with each other. And so we meet on a regular basis. We've done the low-hanging fruit things, such as a no poaching agreement. But it's time to be more aggressive in 2023 and beyond, related to some of those harder things around the collective. And when I say collective in this instance, not another organization that I'm a part of, but more so Jefferson County as a hub, as a region. The Good Jobs Challenge is an example of what it takes for teamwork. Regional cooperation says, for me, we have to continue to push an economic agenda that works for everybody. Birmingham can't just be a commuter city where folks in the suburbs just come in and work and leave. We also got to make sure folk in the city have opportunity. In addition to that, in the areas of economic development related to tech, related to logistics, related to healthcare, these and many more areas are where we can get our biggest bang if regional cooperation continues to work for us together. I still got time. Who's next? Let's see, I got two this way, so we'll take both your questions. Ladies first. Hey, Kathy. Thank Kathy, but that applause should be for her. She was responsible for 3,000 plus army of volunteers for the World Games last year. Y'all give it up for Kathy. We are. So the question was around a few years back, my predecessors and other mayors for the largest 5 cities in the state of Alabama came together and created an organization called the Big Five. It's morphed since. It's now the Big 10. It's the 10 largest cities in the state of Alabama. We get together on a quarterly basis. And so I believe the end of this month, first quarter of this year, we will be down in Mobile. Mayor Stimson will be hosting us and the other 9 mayors. And y'all, it's an amazing organization, because what you find is street racing is not just in Birmingham. It's also in Tuscaloosa. It's also in Mobile and Montgomery. Gun violence is not just in Birmingham, it's in these other cities. And issues of dealing with the state and no home rule are in these other cities. And so what we do is bounce best practices off each other, solutions. But what we're really doing is working with the legislators down in Montgomery to say cities are as important as rural Alabama. And the GDP of this state is within these cities collectively and combined. And the issues we have are important, and we need the state's help, whether it's tax issues, whether it's gun violence issues and public safety issues, and so many other issues, infrastructure, et cetera, gas tax. I can go on, but it's been very helpful in us driving what we're sharing with our state legislators. JW says I have time for one more. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, Mayor.
Hey, Nan.
I want to ask a question. Since we have so many business leaders in the room, all size businesses, large, medium, small, can you talk a little bit, we have 2 minutes, about your incentive program, RISE program, to help retain businesses?
Yes. Cornell, come on up. There's a person that can do this way better than I can, but as he comes up, actually, I'm going to let him say it first, and then I'm going to close out. So just take this mic. Everybody, this is Cornell Wesley. He is the director of the Department of Innovation and Economic Opportunity. But I would do RISE no justice because I want him to give you all some detail.
Well, once again, my name is Cornell Wesley, and I proudly serve as the Director for the Office of Innovation and Economic Opportunity. The RISE initiative stands for Retention, for Incentives for Success and Expansion. It has two functions, and it's underwritten by the liquidation of our surplus property. So you will recall the mayor has focused on reimagining our city assets. So as those things began to be liquidated, or rather acquired, 7% of those resources will be split. 4% will go into one pot, and the other 3% will go to another pot. So they fund a revolving loan fund pocket as well as a cash incentive. The design is for existing businesses who are looking to add employees, who need to acquire furniture, fixture, and equipment, and it is a focus, or rather a new toolbox for a tool that otherwise didn't exist as it relates to our businesses who are here. You will see a lot of times we spend a ton of resources on attraction. This is for existing businesses who are looking to expand and need additional benefits. And again, RISE stands for Retention, Incentives for Success and Expansion. And we want to thank the council for their affirmative approval for that.
Thank you, sir. So to Nan's question, let me do a couple of things. Let me put a bow on her question. Let me make 2 more points, and then JW is kicking me off the stage because it's 12:59. Nan, I want everybody to know this. It's important that you know. The city of Birmingham is open for business. There are a minimum of 36 expansion or business recruitment opportunities in the queue that would allow us to produce thousands of jobs and millions in revenue. GDP. We have an opportunity to continue to be aggressive. What I need this business community to know is don't shut down shop. There are too many buildings in our central business district where we understand the hybrid option, we support the hybrid option, but we also need you to make sure that business is flowing in our community, and that our business center is bustling. And at lunchtime, we want to see people walking the streets. Of course, you got to get back to work, but we want to make sure that our central business district is thriving with businesses and opportunity? That's to that question. There are two more things I have to do before I take my seat. One is to acknowledge my team. If you are a part of the city of Birmingham, that includes the council, please stand now and be recognized. Too many to name, but I have an amazing team that does amazing work. So many different departments: police, fire, permits, engineering, transportation, legal department, our courts, capital projects. I can go on and on, but I am surrounded by all-stars, and I want to thank them for every single thing they do. We have a compelling vision, and they execute and walk it out every single day, and I'm grateful for their service. The last thing is this. 2023 is poised to be an amazing year for this city, this community. You are needed at the table to not be a complainer, to be on the solutions end of helping us address and continue to improve the quality of life of all who live in this city and call Birmingham home. Thank you for your time.